In Lethbridge, Alberta, we've got our Saving Soils sugar beet cover crop study. So quick refresher, we seeded a variety of different cover crops between the rows of sugar beets kind of mid to late June. And we've been following up and checking in on these things for the whole season here. So yeah, March 18, we're a day after St. Patrick's Day, and there's not a lot of green out there, but if we've got a little bit of luck of the Irish, we might be able to see some green poking through on some of our cover crop options. So let's go take a look. So I'll start with the fall rye and winter wheat. So those were two options that actually did pretty good. They had some pretty robust growth under the canopy, and here's a spot right here where I'm going to get on the other side of you here. Here's a spot right here where we did have, some of it. So of course, when we harvest, all the dirt and all the plant residue kind of dirt and plant residue kind of builds over top of it. But we actually have some pretty decent growth on this fall rye here, certainly in this spot. So yeah, that's positive to see. I kind of dig under. There's definitely some plant matter here. So I think this kind of speaks to the potential of the crop. But if you take this sort of broad view, there's not an awful lot of green showing. So I think that speaks to the fact that we've narrowed in on a potential option, but we might have to tweak it and adapt it a little bit for it to really make sense and be effective on farm. Winter wheat, similar to the fall rye, we've got pretty good plant growth here. Like it looks like it's, it's pretty dried up, but if I dig underneath, like there's some substantial, appreciable plant matter here, right? So even under this residue, so maybe not actively growing, but hasn't died in the winter, so we've got something there. Again, I think you'd like to see more of it breaching this sort of crusted layer. We've been through a few freeze-thaw cycles, right? So we get this crust layer, and that makes it pretty difficult for this to kind of come through and actually provide some wind erosion protection. But again, optimistic about the potential, but I think we may need to do some tweaking to the practices and deployment to really be as effective as we'd like. So the other option that really showed some potential was the winter lentils. So, and we do have, that plant matter again is here. A lot of this stuff is loose and dried and dead, so not sure how much benefit it's providing at this point in terms of soil erosion. I mean, it doesn't take much for me to kind of remove them. So we did have some pretty good plant matter, but as far as its ability to protect against wind erosion seems pretty minimal. So, and these were sort of our three best treatments that we tried. So I referred to earlier, we're kind of thinking about, some of the adaptations or tweaks we can make to this practice. And of course, we've talked about maybe seeding a little sooner, getting an extra 7 to 10 days of growth out of some of these cover crops. But another piece might be how to better manage them after harvest. Is there opportunity to maybe do a light harrow or some sort of, less intensive disturbance, just to kind of spread out all that plant matter and dirt matter and give the plants that are there that have survived a little bit more opportunity to kind of grow throughout the winter rather than get covered up and crusted over where they're not providing any benefit at all anymore. So yeah, we'll check in again on this in about a month, kind of at that seeding time, and we'll be deploying this again next year with some of those adaptations that I mentioned. So stay tuned to Farming Smarter for that.